The cuts had affected cities statewide, and additional cuts were made after 2003. The St. Cloud Band was still performing, however, so the city must have found a way to support it. The article contained other facts. The band had existed in various incarnations since the late 1800s. It was composed of about 40 members. Its summer concerts attracted hundreds of people, and it played for civic events like the 4th of July. Halfway through the article, I spotted the slightly incorrect name I hoped to find. In 1923, under the direction of C. Oliver Riggs, the St. Cloud Boys Band was founded at the city's expense. At the height of its membership, the boys' band had almost 200 members and claimed to be the world's largest band. Wow, world's largest. Hard to verify, it sounded like an exaggeration to me, but impressive nonetheless. The article didn't cite a source for this claim, and the incorrect initial in my great-grandfather's name didn't inspire confidence in the veracity of other facts in the article. I would need to dig deeper to determine what could be confirmed and what had become part of local legend. When I pulled up the band's website on my laptop, a color photo of my great-grandfather appeared, accompanied by a timeline of his life and career. G. Oliver lived from 1870 to 1946. Underneath his photo was a quote, "I tell my boys that the only way to win success is by hard work and preparation." The photo looked familiar. I had probably seen it at my parents' house years ago. G. Oliver's band uniform jacket was navy blue or black, with gold buttons and gold braid around the sleeve cuffs. His silver hair was parted slightly off-center and combed away from his high forehead. He must have been about the same age my dad was now. The oval shape of his face reminded me of my dad's face. They had the same thick eyebrows, high cheekbones, and solid jaw. G. Oliver's firm, thin lips turned up at the edges, but he wasn't smiling. He looked like he was preparing to play the cornet he held in his left hand. Below the photo, the timeline revealed that G. Oliver was born on November 26, 1870, near Wapello, Iowa. This surprised me. I went to college in Des Moines. I worked for 4 years at a newspaper in the state's capital city. I married a native Iowan, and all that time I never knew my great-grandfather was born in Iowa. My eyes continued down the timeline. G. Oliver had attended the Oberlin, Ohio Conservatory of Music, directed a band in Espen, Kansas, taught music and directed a band at the Iowa Wesleyan Conservatory of Music, studied violin and cornet in Chicago, and led bands in Aledo, Illinois, Crookston, Minnesota, Grand Forks, North Dakota, Tacoma, Washington, Havre, Montana, and Bemidji, Minnesota. At the bottom, it mentioned another curious item: his death of a heart attack at the Red Lake Indian Reservation school in northern Minnesota, where he ended his career. The geographic mobility in my great-grandfather's life astonished me. He had traveled extensively to towns with mysterious names and to more than half a dozen states. Even though I knew he had been a music man, which implied time spent on the road as a salesman, I had pictured him living only in St. Cloud, stuck like a pin in a map. I sat at the dining room table and stared at the 2-page timeline, which I had printed out from the website. The pieces of paper I held in my hands contained the bare bones of a life, condensed into 24 bullet points. The real story waited in the space between those lines of text. I couldn't wait to fill it in.